Welcome back, dear students, for Standard 10th Science and Technology Part 2. We will be doing with chapter number 4, Environmental Management, Module 2. My name is Ms. Jagjit Kaur. Students, before beginning with module, let's recall what we have studied in module 1. We studied that the ecosystem is formed by the biotic and abiotic factors and their interactions with each other. Biotic factors are the living organisms such as plants, animals, and microbes, and abiotic factors are non-living organisms such as air, water, soil, etc. We also studied that physical, chemical, and biological factors affecting living organisms in any possible way are collectively called as environment. And the science that deals with the study of interaction between biotic and abiotic factors of the environment is called as ecology. And also the basic functional unit used to study the ecology is called the ecosystem. Environmental balance is also maintained due to various food chains of ecosystem. Environmental conservation has become the need of hour for mankind. Unnecessary and unacceptable change in the surrounding environment due to natural events or human activities is called as environmental pollution. And we studied that ultimate adverse effects of pollutions is on the existence of all the living organisms, and therefore environmental conservation has become the need of hour. Students, now let's see the learning objectives of this module. So in this module, you all will be learning about environmental conservation, our social responsibility, various laws enacted about environmental conservation. Then we will be studying about environmental management. Under environmental management, we will be learning environmental conservation and biodiversity, levels of biodiversity, then hotspots of biodiversity, and the classification of threatened species. Now students, let us understand our social responsibility for environmental conservation. Now we know that since existence of human, there is interrelationship between human and environment. On the earth, human being proved its superiority as compared to other animals with the help of characters like intelligence, memory, imaginary ability, etc. Now, human established domination over the nature. Even human utilized all the natural resources as much as possible. In an attempt to live a satisfactory life, human kept on snatching from the nature as much as possible, and this led to increased problems. From this entire scenario, we can understand that human has crucial role in maintaining the environmental balance. Now, if human has disturbed the environmental balance, then human itself only can conserve and improve the quality of the nature. Many times it is seen that general public is unknown that their activities are harmful to the environment, and unknowingly their activities happen and they disturb the environment. So we can say that human itself is responsible to maintain environmental balance. Now students, let us see the laws enacted about environmental conservation. That means the laws enacted for conservation of environment. The first law is Forest Conservation Act 1980. According to this law, the land reserved for forest conservation has been prohibited to use for any other purpose. For example, for mining activities, it is essential to obtain the permission of the central government, failing which the defaulter is entitled to imprisonment for 15 days. The next law we have is Environmental Conservation Act 1986. It is also called as Environment Protection Act 1986. The main objective of this act is the protection and improvement of the environment and prevention of hazards to human beings, other living creatures, plants, and property. It safeguards the environment from pollution and punishes persons or institutes causing harm to the environment. Any person or factory is forbidden by this act from releasing pollutants in the atmosphere beyond a certain permissible limit. Now, if a person breaks this rule, he is entitled for either 5 years of imprisonment or a fine of up to rupees 1 lakh. Then the third law is National Green Tribunal in the year 2010. This law has been established to effectively implement the environment related laws and handle environmental disputes. Now, here also, if a person breaks this rule, he will be facing a court case which will be filed against him in the court. Then next we have Wildlife Protection Act 1972. This law is established for the protection of the wildlife, and there are three clauses in this law, that is clause 49A. In this clause there is a complete ban on trading of rare animals. Then second we have clause 49B. In this clause there is a complete ban on use of articles prepared from skin or organs of wild animals. And the third clause, that is clause 49C. In this clause, there is a compulsory disclosure of the stock of artifacts made from rare wild animals. Now, if the persons fail to follow this rule, then there are various punishments which the persons will be following who are the defaulters. Now, students, let us see what is Chipko movement. Now, it is also called as Chipko movement of Bishnoi. In the year 1731, Amrita Devi Bishnoi, along with other 363 Bishnois, sacrificed their lives for the protection of Kejri trees in Kejarali village near Jodhpur in Rajasthan. These trees were being harmed for construction of a new palace. Bishnois were dependent on various forest products for their survival. Amrita Devi and other Bishnois showed courage by embracing the trees to protect them. The Government of India has recently instituted Amrita Devi Bishnoi National Award for the protection of wildlife. Now students, do you know about Jadav Mulai Payang? Jadav Mulai Payang is a highly capable person in Assam. He is born in 1963. He is working as a forest worker since the age of 16 years. Once, large number of snakes died in the flood of Brahmaputra river flowing by the village. As a preventive measure, Mulai planted 20 bamboo plantlets. In 1979, the local social forestry department began a social afforestation project on 200 hectares of land. Mulai was one of the few forest workers who were looking after that project. Mulai continued to plant the trees even after completion of the project. As a result of his continuous work of planting and caring for the trees, the barren area witnessed the forest cover over the 1,360 acres. Now today, this jungle is Kokilamukh of Jorhat district of Assam, is the result of the hard work for 30 years. He has been awarded with the prestigious Padma Shri award by the Government of India for this unparalleled work. Now, it is well known as Mulai Jungle. Many people come together to destroy the forest, but a single person, if determined, can establish a new forest. Now let's learn about environmental conservation and biodiversity. As we all know that environmental pollution affects the living organisms and reduces biodiversity. Living world had a rich biodiversity. The richness of biodiversity is getting depleted at a very high rate only due to various activities of human beings. So students, we can define biodiversity as the richness of living organisms in nature due to presence of varieties of organisms, ecosystems and genetic variations is called as biodiversity. And also students, every year 22nd May is observed as World Biodiversity Day. Students, we know that biodiversity is the richness of living organisms in nature due to presence of varieties of organisms, ecosystems and genetic variations within a species. Now biodiversity occurs at three different levels. So that three different levels are genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. Now let's see what is genetic diversity. Occurrence of diversity among the organisms of same species is called as genetic diversity. For example, each human being is different from other and the possibility of wiping out of the species arises if there is decrease in the diversity within the species whose members involved in the sexual reproduction. Even we can say that the genetic constitution of each organism may be different. Then next level is species diversity. Innumerable species of organisms occur in the nature. This is called as species diversity, or we can say diversity in the species of organisms that occur in the nature. And the species diversity includes various types of plants, animals and microbes. Then the third level is ecosystem diversity. Many ecosystems are present in each region. Ecosystem is formed through the interaction between plants, animals, their habitat and changes in the environment. Each ecosystem has its own characteristic animals, plants, microbes and abiotic factors. Ecosystems are also of two types, that is natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystems. Now students, let's have some information about the sacred groves. The forest conserved in the name of God and considered to be sacred is called as sacred grove. These are in fact sanctuaries conserved by the society and not by the government forest department. As it has been conserved in the name of God, it has special protection. These clusters of thick forest are present not only in the Western Ghats of India but in the entire country. More than 13,000 sacred groves have been reported in India. Students, how can biodiversity be conserved? So, biodiversity can be conserved by protecting the rare species of organisms, by establishing national parks and sanctuaries, by declaring some regions as bioreserves, then by implementing some projects for conservation of special species, then by conserving all plants and animals. Whatever rules are being implemented for conservation of biodiversity, the observation should be done for the rules. Then by maintaining record of traditional knowledge, and there are many state level, national and international level institutes that work for the conservation of the environment. Now let's learn about the hotspots of biodiversity. Biodiversity hotspots are the geographical areas with high species diversity which need maximum protection. Around 34 highly sensitive biodiversity spots are reported all over the world. Currently, only 2.3% area of Earth has been left with the hotspots. Now, students, according to the Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund, that is CEPF, there are 36 biodiversity hotspots currently recognized in the world. The 35th biodiversity hotspot, that is the Forest of East Australia, was identified in 2011, and the North American Coastal Plain NACP was identified as the 36th biodiversity hotspot in the year 2016. Biodiversity hotspots once occupied 15.7% area of the earth, but at present 86% of these sensitive areas are already destroyed. Biodiversity hotspots also include 150,000 plant species, accounting to 50% of the world count. In India, out of 135 species of animals, 85 species are found in the jungles of eastern region, that is in eastern India. Around 1500 endemic plant species are found in Western Ghats, and also out of the total plant species in the entire world, 50,000 are endemic. Now students, let's learn about the endangered heritage places of the country. So the endangered heritage places of the country are the Western Ghats, the Manas Sanctuary and Sundarban Sanctuary. So now let's see about the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats spread over the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Tamil Nadu and Kerala has been endangered due to mining industry and search for natural gas. Habitats of Asiatic lion and wild bison of this region have been under threat. Then next we have Manas Sanctuary. Manas Sanctuary of the Assam is under threat due to dams and indiscriminate use of water. Tiger and rhino of that region are under threat. Then third we have Sundarban Sanctuary. Sundarban Sanctuary of West Bengal is reserved for tigers. However, the tiger population and overall local environment is seriously challenged by dams, deforestation, excessive fishing, trenches dug for same, etc. Now students, let's learn about the threatened species. Threatened species are plants, animals or any other living organisms that are in danger of extinction in the near future if conservative measures are not implemented on time. Threatened species are classified into four categories. The four categories are endangered species, rare species, vulnerable species and indeterminate species. Now let's learn each species in detail. So the first one is endangered species. These are the species whose either number is declined or habitat is shrunk to such an extent that they can be extinct in near future if the conservative measures are not implemented. For example, lion-tailed monkey and lesser florican. Now the second category is rare species. Number of these organisms is considerably declined. Members of this species being endemic may become extinct very fast. These species are rarely encountered and very uncommon. For example, red panda and musk deer. Now the third category is vulnerable species. Number of these organisms is extremely less and continues to decline. Continuous decline in their number is distressful. These species can quickly move to rare or endangered species group if appropriate conservation measures are not implemented. For example, tiger, lion. Then the fourth category is indeterminate species. These organisms appear to be endangered, but there is not enough information about these organisms due to their behavioral habitats like shyness, for example, giant squirrel. Now, as per the Red List assessment published in 2015, the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species lists red panda, musk deer, and tiger as endangered species. Now, students, do you know about IUCN? IUCN stands for International Union for Conservation of Nature. It prepares the red list that contains the names of endangered species from different countries. Pink pages of this book contain names of endangered species, while green pages contain the names of the previously endangered but presently safe species. And also, IUCN is an international organization working in the field of nature conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. It is involved in data gathering and analysis, research, field projects, advocacy, and education. IUCN's mission is to influence, encourage, and assist societies through the world to conserve nature and to ensure that any use of natural resources is equitable and ecologically sustainable. Now, students, let's summarize what we have learned in this module. We learned that human being has become supreme on the earth due to its intelligence, memory, imaginations, creative ability, etc. And maintaining the environmental balance is the duty of the humans. The richness of living organisms in nature due to presence of varieties of organisms, ecosystems, and genetic variations is called as biodiversity. And also, biodiversity occurs at different levels, that is genetic diversity, species diversity, ecosystem diversity. And 22nd May is observed as a World Biodiversity Day. Now, students, this is your assignment. Question number 1. Write short notes on Chipko movement of Bishnoi. Second, biodiversity. Third, sacred groves. Then the second question, what do we learn from the story of Jadav Molai Payang? Then the third question, write the names of biodiversity hotspots. Fourth question, which are the reasons for endangering the many species of plants and animals? How can we save those? Thank you, dear students.